Hi, I'm Seamless, and today is Tuesday. Today's live stream, which happened at 10 a.m. and went until 12 p.m. So actually almost noon. I decided I was going to do sound design requests. I have attempted 5 of them. I'm going to briefly go over what they were. I'll try to remember what they were from, and then that's pretty much going to be it. This is kind of like the sound design research recaps, only it's going to be a recapping of whatever happened here. All right, so the first one I did, big old chord here. This is from Mr. Bill and Virtual Riot track, either a remix or a collaboration. I don't remember. The guy who requested is no longer in the chat, so I can't ask him. The trouble with this chord was not so much what the sound was itself, but what the chord was, because it was a very I just stacked a whole bunch of major and some sevens and some minor sevens in there, there's some filter mod going on and not a whole lot else. There's some unison, some prism. I have the harmonic randomness engaged. It's a saw, and pretty much not much else. The prism amount turns on over time as opposed to coming down, which I normally do. The prism shape itself is very erratic to account for the higher frequency content of the higher notes. But that's what I got for that. Yes. 2D is Tuesday. So, this guy, I don't actually know who did this, but this was in an Excision mix and Shambhala mix. It was at 5 something. It's a break, 529 maybe. It was a break between tracks, and this is one of the growls that happened in the middle there. The challenge in this growl was not so much to actually make the growl, but to make the particular distortion profile it had near the end of it. And I went through some interesting ideas to try and get it to do this, including using FM8 for post FM. So this is, like I said, the vocoder thing. I'm using Citrus to do the kind of ring modulated sharpness sound that I like to do for my vocoder carriers these days. I have a harmor opening with recording of me going why to be the modulator. It's being controlled manually by the position here. This controls the amount of ring modulation that's applied. Maximum means it's fully sharp, where bottom means it's fully not. And this bottom business here controls the amount of FM that's going on through FM8. So I mean, there's EQ, not a big deal, and then there's compressor, which is equally not a big deal. Did a bunch of up-down compression just because, and then FM8. So the way this works is that FM8 you can load it as an effect, and this input essentially it becomes an oscillator. And so I have it go out, and then F, I have it modulating the input, and it makes it sound juicy. And so that was pretty cool. In Patcher, you can directly attach a MIDI to FM8, the effects version, including and the real version. And then you right-click it, and you give an additional input, and then you can input audio into it. And then you want to be able to automate a parameter. To do that, you go into inputs, parameters, and then you get a big-ass list. Way up here, which is actually pointed out to me by someone in the chat, you get the last tweaked option where it tells you what the last parameter actually moved was. And then once you got that, you can right click on it, you can do what you normally do, and I made an automation clip, and that worked out pretty good. Then I used this wave shaper with the wave shape. I think part of my tonsil just came off. What this does is it adds kind of a similar distortion, it feels like wave shaping. Or FM, but it makes it kind of papery, trashy kind of thing. I'm not super wonderful at this kind of distortion, but it worked out okay. And then the post EQ has a lot of high frequency cutoff because there's a lot of high frequencies. And that's basically what made this sound. Kind of hear at the end there, it gets that kind of papery business going on. That's what it sounds like with more FM. Kind of like the post FM concept. And this is the 7 Lions, which is still peaking, and it really shouldn't because I have a limiter. Don't understand. Could just kill a man. Do I have? Oh, because this is on. There we go. So this is actually got to be kind of a weird. What is happening? Oh yeah, this is the sub. This got to be kind of a weird thing. I initially started out with the idea that this was going to be an FM process, but it ended up being either easier or actually just was just a filter concept with a big old resonance. The primary difference between this sound and the sound that it's trying to be, which I forgot the name of the song that this was supposed to be, but it should probably be, if you're familiar with 7 Lines, it'll be pretty obvious to you. Is that I'm pretty sure the 7 Lines version where this ended was like a harmonic tone, and that would make sense. Make a lot of sense. So that's what this guy is doing. Then it's distorted, and then I use the reverb and delay to make it very, you know, tinny and kind of spread sounding. The harmonic itself is a big kind of super saw thing, but then in the unison pitch thickness, I bring it down so that we get some of the phasiness engaged. Also with the phase randomness, they add kind of more white noisy kind of feel. It gets to be more solid because the original sound is also pretty solid when it gets up to the point where it's got the resonance, you know, peaking. It's also distorted, but lightly, and the mix is honestly almost entirely dry. So that's with that. And it's EQ'd together with this guy, which is the sub. I cut the high pretty hard over here, and then I layered it in with a filtered saw wave, which is what that is. And we got this. Stop with that. This is Pegboard Nerds. Kinda. This is actually a little joke, a kind of inside joke for me, not really anyone else, but I discovered messing around with the pluck shape one day that it's actually very easy to make a sound that's very similar to I forgot the name of the song. But again, this should be pretty obvious to you if you're familiar with them at all. I don't actually think that's what they did, because I'm pretty sure the sound that they used was a bit more expressive than what I've created here. But essentially, as you use pluck, you distort it, you got prism and unison to dirty it up, and then you put a big old formant shape inside the pluck shape, and you get that. That should be pretty clear and not distorted. And then the last thing I tried to do was a sound from the Noisia remix of deadmau5's Raise Your Weapon. At least it was trying to be. This is like that kind of weird, like whispery, distorted sound that shows up in between basses sometimes. And I don't really get it, but I essentially just did what I usually do, is sort of analyze what the harmonics were doing and try to do something similar. And it is kind of similar, but it's very loosey-goosey. I essentially have a lot of different pitch modulators happening. I've got phaser frequency mode. I have a big prism kind of engaged. I'm actually modulating the actual pitch, and then I have vibrato to create a lot of kind of pitch randomness. And on these two harmonics, these two saw that separated harmonics, the first octave, it's an octave. Yeah, that's basically it. And that's pretty much what I got. I'll put up this FLP for you to denote instead of putting up 5 individual packages, because that would be annoying for me. If you have any questions about any of this, you should show up for a stream. If you're not familiar with my new streaming schedule, I stream every weekday at 10 p.m. to noon, and then every week evening at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is so that if you're you know, not in my time zone at all, then the early ones might work out for you. And if you're in my time zone, then the late one will work out for you. That's the theory anyway, and I hope this works. The streams are each 2 hours long. I guess, I'm not going to be doing one on Thursday evening because I'm going to a Skrillex show, and then I'm probably not going to be doing one on Friday evening because I'm going to a Halloween party. And yeah, and then I'm going to New York. So if you have any questions about any of that, let me know. And as usual, have a nice day.